I think you can always get in that super grind mode, that real push, that sprint to get things done. But as in any sprint, if you're an athlete running a, quarter mile, you're going to need recovery after that, and I think that's something that we can sometimes fail to recognize, that you don't actually get stronger when you're sprinting, you get stronger when you recover. And I think the psyche is just the same as the body, in that we perform best when we have periods where we push and then periods where we reflect, integrate, recover. And so for me, it's just been listening to what works for me. I can continue to grind and continue to perform worse and worse and worse, or I can take the opportunities when I'm inspired and push really hard, and then take those next phases to recover, adapt, and try and come back the next time and sprint even faster, sprint even farther. But it's just finding that balance that's really effective for me to get what I need to get done. Yeah, there's like a natural sense to find balance. And I think we all have that. I think we know it. We just override that voice. We're like, oh, more coffee, or oh, more something else, to hide the signals that our body is naturally telling us. Like, our body is constantly giving us clues. But the problem is it comes with a whisper, and we can drown out that whisper in a million different ways, with distraction, with mental processes, with physical things like I said, drinking coffee or taking Adderall or doing whatever you need to do to drown out that sound that says, hey, really you need to sleep. Like, that's really what your body is asking for. And so I think it's really just tuning in to what you need and being able to listen to that voice and not only hear it, but follow through on what it says. Well, it's ultimately the principle that, you want to be a little bit better in some way tomorrow than you are today, but it's not going to be in a linear path. Again, these go through cycles of stress and recovery. So it's just kind of being able to surf the flow of that and know, again, it's really comes down to balance. So it's the practices. Like, you need to know what to do for sure. And then you need to know how to apply those things in the right way. So when to push and when to take the pressure off the gas as well. And I think that's really understanding that. So part of it is the knowledge, and then part of it is the follow through, and then part of it is the discipline to know not only when you need to go, but when you need to rest. I think it's important to really trust that what you're doing is going to work. And I think that's a combination of experience and all of the different people that we work with, top performers and athletes and everything. But it's also a mix of, there's a great, robust body of science that's available out there, and finding the areas where both lock in and really strong. But trying to find the sweet spot where both kind of line up and where science meets practicum to really get the most effective plan to go through a fully balanced day, a day where you feel like you're really living. It's not a day that feels like, oh man, I'm on this diet and this sucks and I got to do this. Like, what's a day that makes life awesome and makes you, again, a little bit better tomorrow from having done it today? The mind can actually translate information in a lot of different ways and has way more control than we give it credit. And he's one of the leaders. If you look at the research, everything from breaking out with poison ivy or not breaking out with poison ivy, that's controlled by the mind. We're all really good at detecting each other's belief to a certain degree. And, we're businessmen. So for us, it's probably going to come in a pitch meeting, right? Like, or an employee or something. Like, you'll have that person come to pitch you, you'll have that employee come, and they are just so sure, not overcompensating, because that actually is a sign of insecurity, right? But just so calmly sure that they are the right person and they have the right idea, that you may not even get through a quarter of their pitch, but you're like, I'm in. Like, I'm in, you win. Like, I believe you 100%. Because you know that, and you can kind of sense that they've reconciled all of their own fears, all their own insecurities, and that they truly believe that they got the goods. And I think that's somebody weaponizing their belief. That's somebody who has done the hard work to really know themselves, know their product, know what's going on. And they're utilizing belief to convince you far more than the documents and everything else. Whereas you can have somebody else with a great idea who's really insecure and not confident and doesn't believe in themselves, and you'll look at it and like, I just don't think it's gonna work, And the same can be said for fighters, right? Because fighters, that's a very intimate belief detection game. I mean, they're right there at the weigh-in staring at each other, and they're right there across from the ring. And I think not enough is talked about actually believing if you're gonna win, because I think the other person can detect that as well. So Conor McGregor is someone who believes in himself so much that he comes in at 100% belief. And if his opponent is coming in at 99, all of a sudden that 1% difference is going to be a mountain. It's like, wow, he's at 100, like 100% belief. Well, I'm only at 99%. Well, what does he know? Maybe he's right. You know, and so that becomes a weapon for him and has allowed him to be, you know, one of the greatest mixed martial artists in the world. And you'll see that kind of across the board. So it's really just using belief to affect reality in a positive way.